been a while since I could hold my head up high. It's been a while. Damn, has it been a while since I've seen your beautiful faces. And we're going to get into why, not really why, but we're going to get into a little bit of why that has been and where the show will be going forward later on. But before we get into any of that, let's discuss some things, okay? We're going to be talking about the big Cenat discussion that has been going on lately with his new endeavor. I'm also going to be doing a taste test at the end of the show. I'm going to be revealing my favorite horror movie of 2025. But before any of that, we got to talk about Stranger Things, man. I'm not a Stranger Things fan at all, but I can't go 2 feet without hearing about how everybody is disappointed with the Stranger Things finale. And damn, does that suck. But honestly, that's how it usually goes. Sad to say, but that's how it usually is. Usually you find a great show, right? You love it, and season after season they deliver. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, starts falling off, and they hit you with an ending that has you going, what the fuck? It used to happen to me every year with American Horror Story. Every year when American Horror Story started, the first 5 or so seasons, I'd watch it religiously. I'd love it. It would start off great, and then the end of the season, it would be the worst, okay? The worst ending ever. And that's a little different because every season was about something different. But there's all kind of shows where the ending of it is just, it just doesn't live up to expectations. And it leaves you with maybe questions. It leaves you with desires. And it just leaves you going, wow, what a waste. Years. And this is what it amounts to. And it's very sad. And it's very heartbreaking. But what's crazy about this is that these motherfuckers had the nerve to make a documentary about how they were going to disappoint you, okay? And people were doing investigating when watching this documentary. They were seeing things. They were noticing things. And one thing people noticed when watching this documentary was on the computer tab of the writers was ChatGPT. These guys were using the help of AI to write the story. I mean, what else could it have been, right? What else could they be using ChatGPT for? They gotta be using it for some storytelling, which is wild as fuck. And then they got the nerve to put a camera on them. And you notice when you're watching this documentary, because I've seen some parts of it, they will literally straight up look at the camera and say, yeah, we're about to film a scene. We have no idea what we're about to film. Like, what?
Now you know you're retarded.
Huh? How are you about to film something and you don't know where the story's going? I mean, we've heard many cases of this. Halloween 5, this happened. There's been many other examples where they're just writing the show, writing the movie on the fly. And I'm not saying it's right. It's completely wrong. Especially when your job is to just land the plane. Essentially, what you're doing here is tying up loose ends and landing the plane. All of the hard work has been done, people. You've created a world that people are invested in. You've brought them characters that they love and are invested in. And from what I hear about the show, nobody wanted to kill off any characters, which is actually a negative. Usually, it's like, oh, my favorite character died. But in this one, it's like, oh, nobody died, I guess. So that's what I hear. But you get this far. And all you got to do is make it into the airport. and you can't do it.
Now you know you're retarded.
You can't do it. Even with the help of ChatGPT, even with millions of dollars at your disposal, Netflix, you can't land the plane? Come on, man. It's a sad day to be a Stranger Things fan, and I'm glad I'm not. I don't even watch shows. Really. I'm watching a show from 2006 or 8, whatever. Not even, like 2002. Nip Tuck. That's the show I'm watching. You know? I don't even watch anything. I mean, there's nice shows. There's great shows. You know, Landman looks good. Billy Bob Thornton. You know, Wednesday looks like a good show. There's a couple things, but I just don't want to invest. You know what I mean? I just don't want to invest because you just end up getting disappointed. What the hell, man? The nerve, the audacity, the gall for these motherfuckers to put a camera in the writer's room when they have no idea what they're doing. Right? If I were the creators of Stranger Things, I would have pulled Netflix aside and said, hey, yeah, can we not have the cameras around to show how incompetent we are? Yeah, this is going to be a bad look. Can we kind of scrap the documentary here? Because now it's just behind. Now they should just call the documentary How We Fucked Up. They should just call the documentary How We Screwed Everybody Over and got away with millions of dollars. Really? You know, because they look like they really didn't care much in the documentary. They were like, it wasn't like, oh my God, like we have no idea what we're going to do. It was more like, we don't really know what's going on. And it's like, whatever, we'll film something. Where's 11? Oh, we killed her. Like, oh, that's the one you kill. You kill 11. The one, like the only one I know. That's the one you kill. And then somebody comes out as gay, like in the middle of all this turmoil. Because let me tell you what, if I was gay, you know what I mean? Like if I was flaming gay, I would not do it in the middle of me and my homeboys in the heat of battle with a demon, right? Like, oh yeah, you know, our lives are on the line. There's a big, hey guys, by the way, I'm fucking gay. You think that could have waited? You know what I mean? Like, really? We could have had that discussion at IHOP after we killed the demon, I believe. I mean, maybe it did happen after that. I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but that's the way it appeared. It's just like, how do they get away with this, dude? And they're probably, these guys are probably, they probably have tons of multi-million-dollar deals in front of them now that they're done with this. Oh, make this show. What do you got? Just people are probably throwing money at these guys. I'm very sorry, and I extend my condolences to all the Stranger Things fans because I remember how much y'all loved that show. Okay, I'm around for the hysteria. Never really got into it, but I heard season 3 was ass, and now they couldn't land a plane. So just another TV show or series that ends terribly and tarnishes the legacy. There's been a lot of discussion about the streamer Cenat. Cenat, one of the biggest streamers in the world. You know, somebody who I've heard so much about. Never watched a stream, but I've seen a lot of moments from his streams. And, you know, he's a big deal. But lately, people have been clowning him. People have been clowning and making fun of Cenat because he has started a new journey to becoming a fashion designer. But in the midst of this journey, he started a YouTube channel, a new YouTube channel, where he's showing his process. And one of the things he wants to do during this endeavor is speak better, become more eloquent. And to do that, he's starting to read. Starting to read books, okay? And he's reading them on YouTube. And the reading is not good. The reading is really not good. He's rushing through every sentence. It essentially sounds like he's just reading one long run-on sentence. And he cannot pronounce a lot of words. And I'm not clowning him. Listen, we're going to get to this, but I'm not a person that's going to clown Kai for this because I can't even do math. So I'm not going to clown him for that, right? But I do have my opinion on it, which I'll get to in a second. But that's the gist of it. Is people are clowning him, people are cloying him, you know, and they're making fun of him because he's not a great reader. And they're saying what he's doing is very performative, that he's showing himself reading. He's showing himself learning how to sew and showing himself in the meetings with these fashion designers, showing them the ropes. And one other gripe people have is that he's recording it on low quality devices. And what he's saying is that he's doing that so he can show people and inspire people that they don't need all these fancy cameras and all this equipment to do what he does, which I respect that. And I respect everything he's doing, okay? Is it performative? Is what Kai Cenat is doing performative? Absolutely it is. But the guy's a performer. This is not new. This guy is a streamer. They show what they do all day. They eat, sleep, shit, and breathe on camera. So what makes you think he's not going to put a camera in his face when he's off on this new journey? You know what I mean? So yes, it's performative. Is it also funny? Yes, it's funny that he can't read well. That's funny. But I'm not going to clown him for that because he's trying to improve, and he will improve. He will eventually improve, right? This guy, he's only 24, right? And he's put his flag on the top of the mountain of streaming. One of the biggest streamers ever. Breaking records, all these Streamers University, which was so much fun to watch the clips of. Never watched it, but I watched the clips of that, and it looked like a great time, right? The guy has done it all. He's made it to the pinnacle of streaming, and now he's off on a new adventure, and you gotta respect that, okay? Because that's what greats do, in my opinion. There's only so long you can be at the tippy top of an industry. Not everybody could stay there, without getting stale, without being that stale guy. Because then you run the risk of people saying, oh, he's just doing the same old shit, same old shtick. There's Kai. He's running around screaming and hanging out with Nicki Minaj. There he is, right? So the guy gets an idea. He has a new passion. And some people are claiming, oh, it's not really a passion, it's pretentious, blah, blah, blah. But we can't say it if it is or isn't, and I'm sure it is. The guy has a new passion, and he's climbing a new mountain. And that's what life's about, man. That's what it's about, is you make it to the top of one industry. You achieve a goal, and now you start a new one. You start a new adventure. You get a new goal. And now you have to climb a new mountain. Now you have to learn new skills. Now you have to become a better, different version of yourself. And that's one of the best things you could do in life, in my opinion. Okay? One of the best things you could do is start a new project, start a new goal, and not stay stagnant. Staying stagnant is one of the worst things you could do, okay? Because that's when you eventually start withering away. And listen, some people can stay at the top of their industry, and that's all they do, and that is fine. There is actually nothing wrong with that, okay? But then there's another type of person, okay, which I'm not saying they're better, but there's another type of person that makes it to the top of somewhere and goes, you know what? I'm happy. I did this. I'm proud of myself. But now I want to do this. And listen, you're not going to always be successful, right? You're not going to always go out there and make it to the top of something else. You're not going to always succeed 100%. But it's better than not trying. Whether or not you fall on your ass or you make it, at least you could say you tried it, you did it, and you gain new skills, you gain new awareness that you can take and do something else, right? That's what it's about, man. Okay? And again, is it funny? Is it funny that, that he's doing like a performative thing? Is it funny that he could barely read? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But also, this is going to hopefully inspire other people, inspire other kids to do what they want to do and maybe do something other than streaming, because everybody wants to be a streamer now. If you ask like a classroom full of children, 80% of them are going to be like, I want to be a streamer like Speed. I want to be a streamer like Cenat. Blah, 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 blah. And that's because that's what they see. That's because that is the most prevalent thing. That is the most popular thing. At one time, everybody wanted to be a rapper. Now everybody wants to be a streamer. And not everybody could be a streamer. You know, not everybody's that fucking interesting. I don't think I could be a streamer. I don't even think it looks fun. I would not want to be on camera for that long. Absolutely not. I respect it. I respect the streamers that do great jobs. You know what I mean? That keep people interested and entertained. And he's one of them, right? He's one of them. So maybe what he's doing now will inspire other people to go after what they want. Maybe he'll inspire other people to have a love for fashion. And people need to see the struggle. People should see that, you know what? He wasn't a great reader. The guy isn't even comprehending what he's reading because he's reading it too fast. You should slow down, because if you're not reading for comprehension while you're reading, that's my only advice to Cenat, is maybe you should slow down and ascertain and digest what you're reading, because if you're just reading to read, you're not going to learn anything, right? But seeing the growth, seeing the trials and tribulations is very important. And I respect everything he's doing. Again, it's funny, you know, but I respect it. And I think that anybody that is clowning him and trying to put him down, you know, laughing at certain aspects of it is okay. That's fine. But if you're actively trying to put this guy down for going and doing something new, then fuck you. For real. Because you're just probably either scared that you can't go do what you want to do, or you just have zero initiative at all. And you're just going to talk from the sideline. You know what I mean? So shout out to Cenat. But I think he's also going about this the wrong way. Let me say this. Because if I were him, I would be using everything I have at my disposal. Instead of doing it the way he's doing, where he's like trying to do this kind of from the ground up and show his journey as it's happening. How I would have done this, I would have made a couple pieces, right? I would have made a couple shirts. You know, maybe a couple hats and stuff. And I would have just had my boys decked out, right? And I wouldn't have said nothing about it for a little while. I would have started rocking that shit. I would have had my boys in that shit. I'd have been sending other celebrities boxes of my shit, right? Have people out and about with it. Have people wondering what it is. And then you slowly start letting the cat out the bag. That's my brand. Then you do a launch party, right? You do a big launch party. Then all the footage you collected of you barely reading, you can edit that together and make a documentary of how you came to be where you are with your clothing brand. I would have not done this in real time. That's what I'm saying. I would have done this behind the scenes, put my stuff on my homeboys and stuff, and then boom, release. That's how I would have done it. 2025, wow. I'm not really going to get too much into 2025, but we didn't talk about it because we did not do a show after 2025. This is the first show of 2026. And man, what an interesting year, wasn't it? The one thing that really stuck out of my mind when thinking about 2025 was the deaths. It sucked for that. Sabu, the great wrestler, Sabu, passed away. Very sad after his last match. The great Ozzy Osbourne passed away. Extremely sad. Hulk Hogan passed away. And I'm probably forgetting a slew of other names, and I apologize for that because I don't have a list in front of me and I'm not remembering everybody's name. But, you know, just what an interesting year for celebrity deaths, at least personally for me and for my buddy Justin, because these are people that impacted our lives since we were children, and it just sucks to see them go. So, you know, RIP. RIP to the people who passed away in 2025. I'm not going to get too deep into the horror movie rabbit hole for 2025, okay? But my favorite horror movie of 2025 has to be The Rule of Jenny Penn. I did not stop talking about The Rule of Jenny Penn to anybody that would listen. I tried to get everybody I could to watch that movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's about a man who has a stroke. He's in a care center for the elderly, right? And then all of a sudden, he runs into this other elderly man who starts bullying him and everybody in the care home. And he has this creepy doll puppet on his hand. And it's just a sinister, dark, grim movie that I loved so very much. And you know I loved it when I'm picking that over Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which also came out in 2025. Okay, which is my second pick. That is my second favorite movie of 2025. Has to be. We didn't get to talk about FNAF on the channel in depth, but I'm just going to say this right now. FNAF 2 did not disappoint. Thank God. Thank the Lord above that FNAF 2 did not disappoint, because I was hoping and praying that they didn't drop the ball. And I didn't think they would, because Scott Cawthon is heavily involved. David Gordon Green is not involved. That would have been a bad one, right? We all know what he did with Halloween Ends, right? So Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was a fucking banger, bro. I know it was pretty controversial, but I thought the story was good. The story was solid. I loved the intro. The intro was the best part of the movie, probably. Maybe. For second, maybe. It's up there. Top 2 moments is the intro. And the ending, the last 15 or so minutes of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was fire. And just everything that they did. Having the animatronics actually leave the first location to get out there in the world. It was so fun watching the animatronics break out of the location and do their thing. It was so awesome to see 3 different types of animatronics in this movie. We had the Wizards, we had the toy animatronics, and we had the ones from the second location. What a banger of a movie that I've watched probably 3 times at this point. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was flames. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. I do not care. The Conjuring also came out, and that was a disappointment. Wow. Weapons. Did not like that. Everybody loved that. Now, another movie I watched last year was Marty Supreme. I'm not going to get too into that. By the Safdie brothers, they made one of my favorite movies of all time, Uncut Gems. And I thought Marty Supreme did not disappoint at all. There was a lot of discourse. There was a lot of, dare I say, controversy around Marty Supreme. The marketing was great. Timmy Chalamet was out and about. He was doing his thing. And, a lot of people were like, oh, why would we watch Marty Supreme? Because it's about a really bad guy. And it's giving a negative impact on men, and it's making them think that they can go out there and be like this. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. What are you talking about? Every movie you have to watch has to be about some benevolent being. Every movie we have to watch has to be about Jesus Christ or something. Like, no, we could watch a movie about a piece of shit. That's what the Safdie brothers are good at, making movies about guys who are out there wheeling and dealing and scheming and conniving, and that's what made the movie great. We had this guy out there who was just in constant motion, just constantly doing the wrong thing, just unbridled ambition, going out into the world and messing stuff up. It was a lot of fun to watch. I thought Marty Supreme was a very good movie. Was it a little bit long in the tooth? Yes, it was. But other than that, Marty Supreme was solid. Got really no complaints about that. Really no complaints. So there you go. That is a wrap on 2025. I'm probably missing a bunch of other moments and movies that we could be discussing right now, but that's not what this was about. This was not a big 2025 wrap up. I am so glad that you made it into 2026 with me. It is great to see you. We're going to have a fire 2026. As you know, the show has been on somewhat of a hiatus, and it's been that way for a couple months, way back to like September, October. As you know, I was working at Spirit Halloween, my favorite job ever. Shout out. And we still have been on somewhat of hiatus because of some circumstances and some things that have been going on behind the scenes. And thank God, I will say, they have been good things, good circumstances, good situations. Thank the Lord. But they have been preventing me from coming on the mic and allocating time to the show and making it a good show, because I don't want to give you guys a lackluster podcast, a lackluster show or video, whatever it is. I want you guys to enjoy it. So we haven't had as much time, but I do not plan on abandoning this channel. I do plan on uploading more in the future. We don't know what the exact rhythm is going to be, but stay tuned for more. I am going to try the Kraft Mac and Cheese apple pie flavor now. Doesn't that sound wacky? Doesn't that sound zany? Apple pie mac and cheese? I've been excited for this for months, and I've had it in my cabinet. I haven't touched it because I wanted to try it with you. So that's what we're going to do right now. And then after that, the show is over. So before I play that, peace and love, BRB. Look what we got. Apple pie flavored Kraft Mac and Cheese, bitch. Oh, am I excited for this. First things first, this has an absolutely immaculate scent to it. Oh my God, it smells just like apple pie. It's incredible. Look at that. Let's see. Oh, yes. I knew it. I knew it would taste just like this, and I am not disappointed. Oh my God. People are like, oh, that's gonna taste nasty. And in my head, I'm like, how? How? Let me tell you right now. Blah, blah, blah. This is fire. Oh, it's not an insanely overpowering apple pie flavor. I feel like this is the right ratio. This is the perfect amount of apple pie flavoring. Damn! I don't care what you say. Don't knock it till you try it. 5 out of 5. 5 Michelin stars. Whatever you want to say. Bow. Dale.